Which one will you choose? Let me explain. So in the 1960s, there was an experiment called the Milgram experiment. Now, before I go on, I will say that this experiment does cross ethical guidelines and it does bring up the issue of consent. So in this experiment, you have three people. You have the learner, you have the teacher, and you have an authority figure. Now, the authority figure is going to be asking the learner questions, and if the learner gets the questions wrong, then the teacher is going to be shocking the learner. Now, the learner is an actor, and the authority figure, of course, is the person conducting the experiment. So the teacher is the person that they're testing or they're experimenting on. Now, the purpose of the test is to see how far you will go along this line of harm before you will turn off and follow what you morally believe is right. But 65% of the people in this experiment, so if you have nearly 7 out of 10 people will choose to continue to harm the learner, that the learner at one point goes unconscious and the teacher is instructed to continue to shock the learner. So they interviewed these people afterwards, and these people were greatly distressed that they had caused the learner harm, that these people are struggling afterwards with the consequences of their decisions. How far will I go in choosing obedience and fear and conformity over standing and doing what I feel is right? And though in that experiment, only 2 people are willing not to do that experiment at all, that experiment has been repeated repeatedly over the years, and not to that extent, but the results are always nearly the same. Now let's talk about Daniel. So Daniel as a teenager is captured by Babylon. So Daniel as a teen is now under oppression and bondage. But right away we see Daniel's character. So in the king's palace, he's chosen because of how gifted he is. He's chosen because of how smart he is. But in the palace, when Daniel is told that he needs to eat the king's diet, Daniel instead chooses to eat vegetables. He chooses to be vegan. Then we see that when he is chosen to save his fellow man, that he uses that as a way of presenting and pointing the people back to God. We see the biggest display of his character is when he refuses to worship the golden king. So Daniel is what we call, he is self-directed. And this is that I bring the strength of my character and who I am into every environment and every relationship that I form. And that actually it is that if you are in a culture